Hi, all. Good morning, good evening, everyone, and thanks all for joining us today for the Sitecore User Group Conference, Coimbatore. So we are thrilled to announce, we are coming up with the other topic, one more topic from Nelson, who is a Sitecore architect and tech lead, and he is a MVP for the Sitecore 2024. So let me allow you to introduce our group of organizers for the SUG first of all, Prabhu Ranganathan, who is a solution architect and had a decade of more than decade of experience in Sitecore and .NET. So he is an solution architect, Sitecore architect, and a Sitecore MEP of 2024. And myself, Gautam Ishwarmurthy, and who is a Sitecore lead and a Sitecore MEP for the 2024. And one of my other colleagues is Vignesh Jyoti Kumar. He's a senior Sitecore specialist, and he's a Sitecore MEP 2024. We three are the people who is organizing the Sitecore User Group Conference, Coimbatore. And this is a short teaser of the session that we are going to look today. The presenter is Nelson Joel Raj, and we are going to see the session topic on mastering Sitecore Search and Crawler API. And Nelson, over to you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Okay, so let me introduce about myself one more time. So I'm Nelson, working in Horizontal as a senior solution architect from Dubai. Okay. Let me share my screen so that we can get started with the session. So let me know if you is able to see my screen. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, Nelson.
All right. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. Okay, this is the first time I'm presenting in Tamil Nadu's special group. So I'm very happy about that because I'm fortunately from Tamil Nadu. So I'm happy about that. So thanks for inviting me to share the session. So this session is basically about Sitecore Search and different connectors and how can we access the content from like XML or PDF or whatever is it, right? Like experience edge or something like that. So we will try to see all those things. And before that get started, like we will see how we can basically configure like our attributes and like suggestions, personalizations, basic features to make sure our color, like our search works properly. So these are all our agenda for today's session. The first will be like the introduction of CEC. I hope like most of the people are already aware of CEC, but anyway, so basically go through firstly with those things. Like again, attribute creations, global widget configurations, and then widget creations, source scrollers, API explorers, and if we have time, like we will see the React GitHub repository, which is shared by Sitecore as well as the open source community. There's a two GitHub repository available right now, so we can see like if you have time, we can see that one as well. All right. So first will be the CEC. So I'll be basically going directly into the dashboard. So instead of going with the slides, so I will directly go to the dashboard and explain you all those informations. Yeah. So once we get access to the dashboard, the Sitecore access, Sitecore access, we will be presented with this particular dashboard screen. So basically, we have to be in tech. So in order to create all our crawlers and everything. Okay, so that is very important. Can I make this go away? So like without the tech admin role, we can't use, okay, so the tech admin role is necessary for us to do all kind of magic in Sitecore Search. Okay. So this is a CEC. So if you go to the top level, like we can, still loading, okay. we can see like all the performance, like if you already incorporate this in any of the website or any pages, so we can see all the how the widget is performing, what is the click rate and everything. It will be showing all this information here. This is the pages. So like once we created the widget, so basically what pages means, like we need to create a widget. Widget is basically like your you will be searching something in your website as a search box, right? So that is called preview widget, and once the search is returning the result, that we used to call as the search results widget. And we have like recommendations, and we have banner widget, HTML widget. We have different widgets. So based on our thing, we can create a widget and we can assign it to relevant pages. So once we load the website, this widget, we can use this widget to crawl the content from. Okay, so that is the purpose of the pages, and this is exactly where we are defining our widgets. So these are all some of the widgets we have created. So we have an analytics tab where we can see all our analytics related informations. Like I told, like what is the click when the user clicked, how much that performed, like everything, all the information will be available here, including like the content explorer, like this content is viewed how many times, almost all kind of information will be able to get it here. Okay. Um, this is the main place where we will be actually configuring our widget level configuration. So there is the two things where we need to configure. One is the global level widget, and in the individual widget itself. So global level widget is basically for the entire CEC. What are all the widgets we are creating? This rules will be applicable to that one. So you can override that rules in the individual widget level things. Okay, so this is exactly where the global level widget configuration will be happen. So I will go through into those things after some time once this glance. This is where exactly we will be using our once we index our content, so all our content will be showing up here, and we can filter it based on a different sources, and we can even use different attributes to filter, and like any fields we can able to filter it out. Okay, this is exactly where our source configuration is created. Like this is the actual core of our application. Like we need to crawl the data from the external sources, something like any different source files, right? Like either XML or again like explicit, whatever it can be, right? So this is exactly where we will creating our source triggers and everything. So we'll go through that one. Finally, this is exactly where all our configuration keys are available here. Like if you could see here, these are all the keys which is necessary for us to call this one. Say, for an example, I want to do instead of using as a automated way, I want to programmatically, like if some event happens in Sitecore, okay, I need to push it directly to Sitecore Search, or I can use my own middleware to push the content directly to CEC. So we can use a different crawler. So for that crawler, we need a authentication key, which is called an API key. So this we used to call this Sitecore Search, calling it as the ingestion API. So this you could see like the event injection discover. So this particular key is used for all these three actions, and we can have a different keys available for it. So we need to use this key to manipulate our data from middleware to the Sitecore Search. So finally, administrator tool, where we have domain setting. Where we will be having all our configuration will be created here. Okay. In this example, we will see like we will be creating one small attribute. So that will be used for searching, and we can use it for suggestion, everything. Okay, like while we're doing search, so that attribute will be targeted, and all the content from that attribute will be provided the result. And if you type something wrong or something, it will provide some suggestion for you, and based on that one, something. And say, for an example, if you want the image, so how we going to store the image, and how can that image will be shown properly in the dashboard CEC. So we'll see all this thing right now. Okay. So let's start with creating an attribute right now. So by default, like you could see, like there's a lot of attributes already created. So when we click add attribute, so by default, the content, the entity will be content, and we can able to create a different content type, entity type as well. by my account, I doesn't have access to create multiple entity, but some of other accounts may have access to create multiple entities. So if you're working for different like employee or something like different like what I can say, like in different console like entity of employee, entity of schools or something like that. So we can map it accordingly. Okay, so let me create a small attribute like called designation, something like that. So I can create the same thing as here. So one important thing is we need to create this as a small letter, as a lowercase letter. If you are providing it uppercase, so this will show you a warning, so because that functional will be depreciated soon. So this has to be always the smaller one. Okay. So why we are creating the attribute? So basically we will be creating an index document. So that documents will have contents of fields, right? Like name, title, description, whatever this one, right? So in order to map those fields, we need to create an attribute. So out of the box, Sitecore will provide some couple of attributes, but we need to create more. Based on our requirement, we can create our attributes, right? So as I know, I'm just creating attribute called designation, and I can set whatever the value. It can be like array, string, or something like that. Here I can go with string, but if you want to go with say for an example image, we doesn't have any option to have image field here. You could see there is no such image field available here. So but what we can do, we can out of the box they actually created one field attribute called image underscore URL, which is again a string type. So we can use that field. Okay, but if you say for an example in designation field, I try to append a JPG URL or some image URL, it never going to show the image icon in the CEC. It will just show a link directly there. So we have to use image underscore URL attribute only. One important point here is like if we want this particular designation to be in search, okay. So what we need to do, we need to create this one. Let me show you this one. Okay. First, let me go with this one. So this is basically like we want to make sure this particular attribute is showing after indexing. This particular field should be shown in the CEC. Okay. I'll show what I'm trying to say. Like basically, if you want to search and if the search is not showing up, there is a analyzer problem. So let me show that to you right now. So once this is created, so let me save this one. Okay, my attribute is not properly defined. Okay, let's do it later. Okay, so let me go to this one. So here we could see like there is a textual relevance and selection blocks. Okay, this is a textual relevance. So when we want to configure any attributes or attributes, okay, so we want to make sure whether that attribute will be used for searching or used for some autocomplete like suggestions, used for ranking. So we can create all these settings over here. So if you want to make sure this attribute designation want to be as a search criteria, so we can this one. If you want to make sure that this should be suggestion attribute, we can click this one. So basically, these are all some of the attributes we can click and play with this one. So once we did this one, again, I need to resolve that issue. So let's not do it right now. So I will show some example which I already created here. So this is exactly the same thing I am discussing. Right? I created like an album title as a field here, and it is a string type. Everything is same here. Okay. So I have created this one. So I also created like all the configuration features like it has to be go for textual relevance, it has to go for suggestion blocks, ranking, facets, and everything. So I can play with this attribute while I'm crawling my content in the website. Out of the box also they actually given this is a default name field which is given out of the box, and it also by default having this text search relevance as well, text relevance also selected, but we can also use it for suggestion block as well. Yeah. So as I told, there is one image field which is available there, which is used for search image to be displayed. which is called image URL. This is out of the box one. So this is again, you could see there is no difference here. It is still the same type. It doesn't have anything, but when we using this particular thing, image will be displayed. Yeah, so that is very important to note it here. Okay. So once we did with this attributes, and we also did with this our configuration, it's just shown there. So, but if you when I open textual relevance here, okay. So as you could see, like these are all some of the fields which I created, and I selected the feature as textual relevance. So, but I can make sure like whether this particular field can be properly able to crawl my content. Okay, so that's basically because of this analyzer. So basically, there are multiple analyzers available here. Sometimes you could see there is a standard analyzer by default is defined. Okay, so standard analyzer is not working right now. So try to use like multi-local standard analyzer, which is the latest thing right now. So using this one, our keyword search will work fine. So, but if you use like a standard or standard analyzer, it is not working. So better use the multi-local search. So we can so this is exactly all our attributes we are configured for textual or relevance. Everything will be configured and we can assign a relevant analyzer for it. Similar way, we can use it for suggestion blocks as well. Example like for suggestion, okay, we could be like for suggestion like how I want to provide a suggestion to the user. Example, I say for example, I created like two fields. One is from title, one is from description. Okay, if a user types anything in the search box, okay, how can I go and show the suggestion to the user? Either from I need to take it from the title field, or I need to take from description field or something. I can configure it here. Okay, so I just most of the people are already seen this example, so we can just create an attribute here. Okay, so what are all the which field I want to make it as my suggestion attribute, I can just go ahead and select it here. Say for example, if I do it with title, okay, I already created it here. Okay, okay, so it should automatically come up. It should be automatically come up here. Okay, so so I can show like all the analyzed areas. Again, this is basically important, like how I want to make sure this suggestion will be provided to the user. And again, this is also important, like whether I want to show sort by attributes or context or something. This is very important in terms of suggestion, how we want to provide a suggestion, right? Okay, you see this as a different combination I can provide. Like if you want to take it only from the title, yes, we can provide only from the album title or some promo title, anything else. But if you want to look for the different combination to provide suggestion, yes, we can always go ahead and provide it here. So by default, when you click the combination, it will show all the options available. So we can select anything from outside. These are all the fields which is coming from the suggestions which we enabled in the attribute levels as a feature. Okay, and we can even assign our weights, which one to take precedence and everything. So if you want to create a new suggestion altogether, like we can always go ahead and do this. So we can go for context aware, and it will give the same options as we seen above. Okay. Sorting option is similar. So once we want to do page level sorting, like ascending or descending or anything relevant to relevancy, basically like automatically algorithm by the AI wise sorting, it will also be taken care. It is basically easy to configure that one. So if you could see, there is two options like algorithm like sorting and attribute sorting. Attribute sorting is basically you can select a certain field, which based on that you need to do a sorting. So I can select a name here, and I can even set its ascending order, descending order. When the user clicks this particular ascending, so everything will be sorted based on ascending. So this is how it can be done, and we can even this is already created this particular sorting, but again we can create our own sorting here as well. So if you go with algorithm-based sorting, it just gives ascending, like we can have ascending and descending. If you go with attribute sorting, yes, we can have select a specific attribute from here. Okay. Again, like personalization is again same thing. Basically, personalization is not much from our side. Basically, it will be automatically taken care. like whether based on your visits and everything. But again, there is some different options available for personalization as well. Like either you want to show based on your user behavior or based on your search. That's two options available for it as well. Okay. Facets and filters, again, it's again the same thing of configuration only. Yeah. So now once we have created this attributes here, right? So we have created these features and everything in the domain settings, right? Like we just created. So once we create this one, I want to make sure to create widgets basically. So in order to create the widgets, first I need to go to global widgets. This is where, as I told, all the configuration will be mapped here. Like this is the place for every settings which we created in the attributes level. We can configure it. For this widget, what are all the things necessary to be added? Because I have created a lot of sorting options, a lot of textual relevance over there, right? But I can select it which I want to show for relevant widgets or something. So if you go here, I can create some rules here. Sorry, not the rules. Yeah. Okay, so as you could see, like initially, like I created like I'm touching this section block in the feature section. So I'm actually enabling a global widget to only show this auto name suggested to, not this particular thing. Okay, so that means like I can enable both thing as well, but I want to make sure like only this suggestion should be available. This suggestion basically what are the fields which I selected there in the combination that will be taken care in present. So we can plug and play whatever we want. Again, if you go with sorting, as you could see, like I have like a to B feature. These are all the things which I showed you, right? This is all the everything which I created in the feature section, and I can enable whichever I want to show to the user. Personalization, again the same. So this is exactly as I told you, like there's two options for the personalization, which is affinity more like this, which is like more like this, basically based on this particular record, show me the relevant personalized content, something like that. So this is something we're not going to do anything much here, but it will be automatically taken care by the system itself. After we just setting this one, we can even make sure if you want to make weightage for some attributes or something, we can always go ahead and change it here. Same thing for textual relevance as well. So once we did all this configuration available, all the feature configuration available in the global widget, we can still go ahead and create rules as well. Like if you want to blur, an example, if you want to make sure like you don't want to show unwanted content to the user. Say for example, you have created data from multiple sources, but for this particular website or widget, you don't want to show the other content. Example for Sitecore document site, they're actually grabbing from a different website portal, right? So if they want to like hide some of the content from documents, and they can go ahead and do it. They want to entirely remove order upload content, they can able to do it here. So so that is how the rules comes into picture. So we can add the rules, but I already ruled in the widget level itself. So again, I'm trying to override that in the widget level itself. I can show the rule right now quickly. So this is basically this is out of the box search widget which is created. So but the rules, I actually customize the rule based for my requirements here. Okay. So if you could see, this is all the rules which I created right now. So if you could see here, like I'm just trying to, there's a different option in the rules whether I can boost my items from like if you search for some content. Okay, so it will coming from different content types. Okay, example in Sitecore website, if you see Sitecore website, they are having like content from multiple order code website or document website, Stack Exchange, different things, right? So I can make sure which content to be boosted up. Okay, so I'm trying to say like, okay, make sure my content is boosted off MVP. MVP is a content type which I created. So if I search this, always the MVP content will be boosted up. In case like if I don't want to show other content, because this is our sandbox web environment. So there is a lot of people are using this one, and they're creating a different sources for us. So, but I want to make sure for this particular demo, I don't want to show content from different sources or different content types. Okay, so which we can easily able to hide that one. That is called blacklist here. So what I'm trying to say, I'm just trying to say like content type is not MVP or a horizontal. So that means like only these two content types will be shown. The rest of the content type will never shown in the UI. So when I go to the slots here, so this is exactly see that we can see like only this particular horizontal resource and the MVP results are showing up here, but we're not able to see other contents here. So this is exactly how the rules works, and there is a different way to configure the rules. We can even there is a site context level rules, visitor context level, so we can have it. So if you say for an example, like here itself, we can filter my content type is like what can I do here? Like MVP here. So that means that will only give me that particular content. Okay. So we can able to filter it out here. Okay. So now we actually seen these rules. We actually seen this context level thing as also visitor level as well. Okay. So basically for visitor level, again, from which country this guy is coming from, based on that, if you want to provide a relevant content to the user, yes, we can able to do that. Device based, returning or everything. We can configure all rule based thing here. And like if you are using a GTM tags, this one, like again UTM tags, again we can able to use based on that we can use and show the content, different content to the user as well. So now you could see like we as I told, like we having a global widget where I'm trying to configure all my features like search features and suggestion features, fastest feature and everything, right? So here I can override the existing feature which I configured in the global widget itself. Okay, so if you go up here, by default each and every widget will have this options where we can enable or disable it. By if you want to enable it, you can enable it, and you can even customize it basically like which item you want to give more weightage. Yeah, say example like I'm actually using album title here, but again you could see like there is all the things are shown up here. This is something we created initially as a in the attribute section. We actually created it as a feature selected, right? So all the attributes will show up here. We can able to enable it or disable it over here, which we already did in global widget, but still we can further override what we did in global widget here. So say for example, if I want to make sure my I don't want to use name title as faster, I can just go and disable it. Okay. But if I want to go with the name title, yes, again I can enable it. I can even make it as a move up and down. Okay. Again, I can give some more coverage or something like that. Okay. All right. Let's go to this textual relevance again. This is exactly how the search works, as I told before. So if I disable this one here, okay, when I type with some keyword which is based on title, I'm not able to find any results. Okay, this is something happened to me as well. Like I tried. I actually configured everything properly in the features and everything, but I'm not enabled it here. So what happens? I'm searching for any keyword and it is not even filtering it because it is this is not enabled. And again, this analyzer is also some standard analyzer, which should be multi-local standard analyzer. Then only it's working fine. Again, we can disable it as well. Okay, ranking, personalization, everything is same, but we can enable or disable based on our thing. Okay, again, here you could see like we have enabled this one, and again, if I don't want, I can even disable it here as well. So this is exactly how we creating these options. Okay, pages, which is very straightforward. Like we just need to create a page and we need to assign our widget to it. Okay, so we having different pages, like landing page and details page. So basically, we'll talk. Landing page is basically like it's basically where you like home page or something. We can where we can use the landing page. Details page basically if you click on articles, if you want the under the details pages, if you want to show any kind of widgets, search widget or something, you can use it details page as well. Again, let's go to the landing page here. Let's create one small example like landing. We can create a variant as well. Fixed URL, it can be there, but again, if you want to go with some different URL, yes, we can do it. Let me go with the fixed URL. So basically, this is a URL which is pointing to that. Okay, when we calling any widget in the search, we need to give this URL. So every URL, this URL is nothing to do with actual page URL. So, but this URL is very important to make sure the particular widgets page is getting called, and based on that, the results will be generated. Okay, so that's something I can show you in the actual demo, right? So we can create it here, and we don't want to have any filtering here, so I'm not going to do that. So once we did this one, again, I can be able to select which widget I can select it here. Okay, so basically, like as I told, like every page we can select a different widget on top of it. Like this particular search page should have only the preview widget on the search widget. Means I can select the relevant widget from here. Okay, so here this is exactly what we are talking about. This is where we have configured this one. I can even drop here, and this widget will be ready. Okay. And I can save this one. Now I could see all the data are automatically showing up here. This is the exact data which will be going to show in the application as well. We can play with here, like based on this is the URL field as I just told. Now I need to use /search here to crawl this page. So now this is how the basic setup of Sitecore Search. But the main thing is the indexing part. Okay, let's talk about the indexing right now. So there are the different types of sources available. So connectors available for us to crawl the items from different sources, like example like API crawler, API push, web crawler, web advanced. So let's understand the difference between API crawler and web crawler. API crawler is purely you can use it for any kind of a JSON retrieval or any endpoints. Basically, you can call it as an endpoint. Okay. So we can directly use it for those endpoint and grab the content from. Web crawler is purely for any website. Like if I want to target any kind of web pages, which we can directly use like attribute level filtration, like export based filtration. We can directly go with web crawler. Again, web advanced crawler is same thing. Combination of both web crawler and the API crawler. So it will have the both world joined together. I can use it for a PDF crawling, XML crawling, even Word crawling, any different sources, even SOAP crawling, any different sources, we can always go ahead and use an advanced. The last but not least is the push. This is exactly we used to call as an ingestion API, which I initially I showed you. There is a option to create use middleware to inject content from middleware to the Sitecore Search. So this is exactly where the API push connectors comes into the picture. Okay. So let's create a sample source here. Okay, for pushing the content from our API to the Sitecore Search. Okay, let's create an API push URL quickly. So let's create this one API push here. So as you could see, like once I create this one, it will automatically. So this is the key which is actually already available in my system. So I just need to inject whatever using this ingestion API. What I can do, I can just push the content any sources which I already created before. Like say for example, in this place, you see like there is a lot of sources we have created here, right? So every source will have its own source ID. So using this API push, I can use an API and I can push the data to the relevant sources as well. Even I can inject into the same source as well. So example for that, I have actually shown a small example here. So this is basically the URL. So as it course, we are actually using the EU thing because this is my domain name. Okay, as this domain name we can able to see under here. So this is exactly our, you could see there is a domain name here, right? So this is exactly our domain name. Okay. So this is our ID. So this is exactly where our source ID comes into picture. This source ID is basically this source ID which I just created right now. 9840, right? Which I already created. Yeah, so this is previously I created this one 984075. So but now we can use this one. Okay, so when I use this one, so what this will happen, this will try to inject our content into the search, Sitecore search. So this is exactly our URL. So this is a source and the documents. Okay, and we need to provide which locally we want to target. So either it is the English version or Arabic version or any different version we can target, and locally also can be created in the administrator tool, administrator place as well. So that we can be able to, yeah, so we can able to create different locals based on our requirement. So we can always go ahead and create it here. Okay. So we can create just add local, and we can select the country and the language, and we can save it as well. Okay. So let's give a try it here. Okay. Okay, the source is not okay. I need to publish it. Okay. Just okay. I need to publish this one, but let's publishing goes. But in the meantime, like I will go back to the same thing because that this publishing right now. But I can go with this existing one itself. But both are the same configurations. There's nothing difference here. That's what I have. So what this means is basically I already created an example with the same ID. So this document ID is unique for every item. So that is what it's saying. This document is already exists here. So if I change it to something called 8 here, it should work fine. So it is created. So once it did, what happened? This will be now created in here. The content. If you go to the content, and we can see, okay, now it is in queue. Okay, so basically I triggered from here, but now automatically the CEC is in queue. So basically it is trying to fetch this data, which this data will be now created, added to this document basically. And you could see I am targeted to this particular source. Yes, we can even target to different sources as well. Okay, this is how Ingestion API works. And again, we can even able to update this data as well. Again, the same process of updating the data, and we can delete the data as well. If you want to delete any document from Sitecore Search, yes, we can able to do it. And if you want to update, yes, we can use patch here, patch and we can have here a document ID exactly. So as I told, like document ID is mandatory, so we can use the document ID here, and based on that, we will be trying to update our content here. Okay. So you could see this is a different altogether. This is a different source ID, which is 1003. This is exactly 94. This is what I'm using before, but I can target any source in the CC. Like I can target to example. So there are a lot of sources. I can target any of the sources and I can update any of the data from the sources. Okay. So at the end of the day, it will get updated here. Okay. So let's go to the here. Once we did our indexing, the data will be showing here. This is exactly also a content panel. So where we can, as I told, we can able to see our content here. And this is a test course. I just triggered that one. Oh, that is still loading. Okay, let's go with the other one. Okay. Generate photo. Example, like take an example of this particular item here. Okay, so like right now this particular item. Okay, if we can get this ID here, and we can update this ID to 3 here. Okay, example, and okay, updated 3 here. Updated document ID. Oh, sorry, yes. No. So now I updated the document ID here. So once this is done, so this content here, right? This content will be updated with this value. Like description will be hype, and the title will be like what was the title? It will be replaced with this title, replaced with that title, but which I update over there. This is exactly how the ingestion API works. But again, let's give us some time to queue it. Okay. So after that, we'll come back and see that one. Okay. So you see, this is general source 10.03.74.74. 10.03.74.74. This is the advanced web crawler only, and this is not a push API. This is advanced web crawler, but I can, as I told, I can target to any of those things as well, right? Okay. So I think it is done. It's not done still. Still in queue. Okay. So once is done, that is done, that should be reflecting here as well. Okay. So now let's start with the other connectors. Okay. So let me show you sample connectors here. So so now the classical example is like if you want to crawl any web services, right? Any web services or any SOAP or different formatted thing, we can still use advanced web crawler. So here the advanced web crawler comes into. I'm using an advanced web crawler. So as I told, we can't use normal web crawler here. So even API crawler will not also work with SOAP and everything. So we have to, for SOAP and other different formats, we need to use advanced web crawler, which will support majority of the formats. Okay. So here, what I'm trying to plan here is to grab the content from this particular URL. Let's take this one. All right. So this is exactly what I'm trying to do here. So you could see like this is the exact request. Okay. On that I will be getting the response. Sorry, this is a request. That is a response. Okay. So I need to target this one. I need to crawl this information from. So it's easy to do that. So using the advanced web crawler, like what we did. So I can just show it here. Okay. So as I showed, this is exact the request. I'm passing the request. I'm targeting. This is SOAP envelope request. Okay. So I'm not that I did anything special here. I just create a request trigger here. Okay. Instead of sitemap RSS, I just did a request trigger. Okay. So once I did, I just copied the request body, which we need to target this one. So once the request body is done, and the content type should be this one because we are actually targeting in XML format. So the content type is important, and it supports request and exactly the URL. Okay. So once I did this one, I can go ahead with my document extractor. Before that, we need to understand what is this config settings are available. Okay, so by default, we once we created any kind of a crawlers, okay, we will be having this settings. Okay, we will see there's a max depth and max URL, these things. Okay, so max depth basically, what is meant by max depth? Max depth basically like if you're crawling any website or any sitemap or something, each and every web page will have its internal hyperlinks in the pages. Like it will target to different pages, or it will go to Facebook, or it will go to LinkedIn, or where there will be multiple hyperlinks available, right? So we will be saying to the Sitecore Search, okay, whether you need to target those URLs to grab the content, or just go to the normal pages only. Okay, so it's basically like if you're having like domain name /a/b/c something in the URL itself, if you want to target only domain name /a, so or you want to target domain name /a/b. Okay, so based on that, we can easily able to set the max depth. So if the max depth is 2, it will go to the 2 level of the URLs. Okay, so say for an example, if you open a page, first page, only one page is available and it has one hyperlink, it will target the hyperlink as well. Okay, so something like that. So we can go ahead and play with this max depth, and like again, we can have how many URLs we need to be crawling. So if you have a sitemap with 50,000 of URLs, right? I don't want to crawl 50,000, so you can limit it to whatever the URL limit we actually thinking of. Parallelism is again like a concurrent calls to make sure the performance, and then again basic timeout and basic settings. Okay. Render JavaScript is something common thing. Basically, like now we are using API driven way, right? So we are not using the actual browser so that the JavaScript will be rendered and some DOM will be manipulated, right? So we are not using that one. But when using the render JavaScript, um, it will wait for the DOM to the JavaScript to be loaded and some manipulation to be happen, and it will crawl the content accordingly. All right. So that is you can enable or disable it as per our requirement. Okay. So this is the basic settings which we need to follow. Tags again. We can if we having like multiple content, same content with multiple. Say for an example, let me put this example. Are you having a want to get a movie actress information example, right? Where you'll be having information about TV actress or information about movie actress, right? So both end of the day, they're actress. They having the title, the film they worked on. So the attributes, the document will be same, but we can tag it accordingly to different purpose. Like this tag for movie, this tag for something, but the document can be still the same. So we can create our own tags here. By default, the content tag will be coming up for us, but we can create our own tag like this. So we can go ahead and create these tags. This tag will be used for us at the time of creating our document extractors. So here in the document extractor for the SOAP API, which we're discussing right now, I'm using a JS extractor type. Again, I can go with XPath CSS, but for this thing, JS is more useful for me to manipulate the data very easily. So I actually went with this one. So this is very straightforward. As you could see, this is basically the exact format of the extractor. So request and response. So I can use the request object to grab its header, URLs, and everything from the request object. I can just put. You could see like I can if I put like request dot URL, I can get the actual URL which it created set up in the trigger. If I put header, if I set any kind of headers in the trigger, it will show for me. Again, method, it will give get method or post method and everything for me. So I can grab all the data from the request attribute, and response is where I'm actually getting the response from the request which we created. Like it will give me this request, this is response based. This will give me this response. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to manipulate the response, right? Again, it's basically an array. It's basically an array. Like you could see, like there's two attributes here, right? just one attribute and two attributes and basically array. So I'm just trying to manipulate this array. So actually I'm in the country by name. I'm the wrong one. But again, wait a second, let me go back. By language by names. Yeah, exactly this one. All right, so now you could see like there is a language attribute here, T language. I'm using T language here. And I'm just looping through this one, looking for ISO code and name. Yeah, I'm just looking for ISO. I'm just pushing it to an array and just returning it to make sure that document get indexed. Again, this is exactly where our attributes comes into picture. So you see the ID, type, name, description. This is exactly the attributes which we created in the beginning. Like I created a designation, remember? Like, so that is exactly if I want to have any designation related information, even I can use the designation here and it will work properly for me as well. So basically, if this designation is published already, and my document will be created with a field called designation here, right? So, and I just need to publish and save and published. Okay. So once I can even validate this particular thing using, I can even copy the URL or the exact the URL of this the endpoint, and I can validate it, and it will show the result whether it is successful or failure. Okay. If there is any error, that validate will clearly let us know there's an issue in the URLs. Sorry, the extraction logic being created. Okay. So right now you see there is an option here called tag here. This is what exactly I'm trying to say. If you created the multiple tags, I can able to select the tags here. Right now I actually not save the tag. So if I save the tag data there, then I see the drop down here. I can select the tags here, and I can play with this. Right. So now I can even run. I actually ran this one already. So let me show you that example. I think it's loading today. Okay, let me reinitiate that. Let me reinitiate. Let me trigger it again. There is a 407 item, but I don't know, like it's not showing. It's giving some. Okay, you know, some, I don't know, there's an issue there. So this is exactly like I got from there. Okay, so you see, this is exactly locally, and the URL you see, this is exactly what this is exactly the feed I'm actually updated that way. So I can target any number of data here. Okay, if I create a designation, here there will be one more field added called designation, and relevant information will map it. The information will automatically show up here. So as I told before, like we can create multiple tags here. So I actually create tag definitions here as well. So if you could say, like I created two tags here. This is for example. I created two tags here in this example, and here you can see like there is a two I have created two extractors here. Okay, one extractor with tag and another extractor with tag data. Okay, so this is different. Okay, because like in previous example, like we see there is only one document extractor I created, but in this example I created two document extractor. Okay, it's nothing to do with if you like either you are calling some same domain or a different domain. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like we can target it accordingly. So in this example, this again advanced crawler only. So in this example, I created like two triggers. Okay, one is with a sitemap trigger. Okay, this basically sitemap trigger will crawl all the URLs in the sitemap, and it will look for the DOM elements or whatever based on our logic. If you're targeting DOM, it will grab the DOM element and assigning to the attributes we just created. Okay, and other is again I created as a request attributes, and based on that, it's basically a normal JSON file only. So we can just go ahead and so this is exactly this file here. So this is giving a basic JSON samples with having a URL with JPG image URL and some basic title and ID exactly. Okay. So I'm actually using this one to target to target instead of one trigger. So this particular thing has two triggers, and both has a separate configuration. And this is a GET request. And if you want to go with the post request for different thing, we can always go with the post request. Again, it doesn't matter like whether we going with GET or post in each and every trigger. It should not be same. It can be individual as well. Okay. So right now I have two triggers. So now I need to now my job is to target those two endpoints and need to grab the content from. Okay. So basically, I'm just targeted based on small URLs to match with regular expressions. I created an ad extractor here. Okay. So which I created. Let me remove this one, which I already created here. So I created the ad extractor. I just used JS. Again, we can use any of this one. Again, for more simpler way of simplicity of coding, I use JS here. Okay. Let me cancel this one. Let me go it again. So here I'm creating a regex. In this regex, I'm just making sure like, hey, give me the content only which is coming from this particular domain. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say. So that means like I know exactly this particular document extractor will crawl only the content from the sitemap XML, which is targeted to horizontal. So here I'm actually using a different logic, which is basic out of the box logic here, right? I'm just using the DOM to manipulate JavaScript to manipulate the DOM, and I'm storing into this 4 fields here. Okay, and this type I'm just made it as general horizontal, because again type is mandatory here. If you're not setting the type, and you will be not able to successfully index the documents. Okay, yeah, and also you can see there is no ID attribute available here, right? So, but for the JSON, there should be an ID attribute. For sitemap, it doesn't need to be an ID attribute available. For ID is a unique identifier of the documents. But for sitemap, we no need to have an ID attribute. But again, if you want, we can have it. It's not a problem. Okay. So now this is the first sitemap thing. And next thing is this is next thing. I'm again doing the same thing. Okay, give me the data only which starts from this endpoint only. So in that case, it is targeting to this particular domain, and I will be extracting the information from there. Again, this is purely again. You see, this is a entirely different structure again, right? This is purely I'm using JavaScript to manipulate DOM, and this is purely I'm extracting the content from the JSON, right? Again, this is again the type is different here, and that type is different here, right? So once we run this one, all right. Once we run this one, we will be able to get this information. And this source is called general source, right? So this is a general source right now which I created. So you could see like there is this is horizontal, all right? So this is again as I told, like this is targeted especially for horizontal, and it's manipulated all the information from the DOM only. Okay, and you see the URL which each item URL is targeted to. Okay, so every URL is unique here. And this one, oh sorry, this is sorry, this different. Sorry. So every URL is unique here. Yeah, this is client partner or something. Yeah. So URL is unique, and you can even see like the photo album as well. That might be the last, I guess. Let's search for what is the name of it. How much time I have? Hello. just targeting general source here. My type will be, I can go with the type here. So this is exactly our content type comes into picture. So I can even target what specific content type here. So this is exactly the content type here. So you see, so though I could feel like this again, it's the same code, but I'm trying to crawl with the two content types, one with this one general photo album and general horizontal digital, something like that, right? So here you could see this image is properly loaded here, right? And I have the image URL here. This is exactly as I told, right? This image should be image underscore URL, which is the default attribute. If you use a different field, it's never going to show this image, this kind of a thumbnail here. So one source, but we are crawling multiple endpoints at the same time. Right? That is exactly how advanced crawler works with different endpoints. Let's talk about the other things, which again, I can show you one more thing, which is called in advanced crawler. We actually instead of using request trigger and sitemap trigger, we can use one more trigger, which is called JS. Okay, let me show you JS trigger here. So which is important in case this is exactly what JS trigger comes into picture. I'm again using same. This is API crawler. Okay. Again, you can use it for advanced web crawler as well. There is no difference here. Okay. I'm using web API crawler here, it's connector. Okay. So one difference here, if you go to the triggers, I use a different trigger called JS trigger here. Usually we always use request trigger for like fetching the data from the endpoints, right? But I'm using JS trigger. So what the purpose is? At the end of the day, the purpose of trigger is to get the endpoint. Okay, the purpose of trigger is you need to put how can you be able to communicate with the endpoint, whether it get request, post request, provide the body if necessary, timeout and everything. Okay, so that is a absolute purpose of the triggers basically. Okay, so for in case if you want to provide different static URLs or anything called dynamic URLs. Example, in this scenario, you see this URL. This is called a paginated URLs, right? This is a paginated URL, like 0 to 10. Okay, there are two options. Either I can go with normal request trigger with this URL, and I need to use request trigger, request extractor. I need to use request extractor to do the pagination, or I have one more option where I can directly use JS trigger. Okay, so in JS trigger, I just manipulated here, like I'm for now. So, something is happening. Let me copy this. So here in this example, I'm just manually added this URLs here, okay? But again, we can use the for loop to manipulate it using the loop. We can directly up and this the offset with incremental every 10. So it will create the URLs for us. And again, I'm pushing this one. My object will be always like this one. Okay, this is my object. The object will start with this one. URL is URL. It's an attribute. So this is the exact requirement for this one. So end of the day, as I told, the triggers functionalities need to provide an endpoint to the CEC to the Sitecore Search to crawl the endpoint, right? So this is exactly how we're gonna provide this one. So here in this example, I created like four URLs. And it will try to crawl this information from it. Okay, the function is very similar. Like just use function.extract, and I will be creating an array, and I'm putting it all the to the array, and then returning all the requests. Right. So once this is done, okay, I just created this document extractor alone. Okay, which will crawl in a normal way. Like again, go through this one, which has like mapping through each and everything, and it is trying to grab the content from this page, like URL, title, description, and it will do the same thing, URL, title, description. So URL, title, and description. Okay, so it does the same thing. Okay, but here I'm not doing pagination through request extractor. I'm doing pagination directly using JS trigger itself, because it will call one by one all the endpoints, and it will document extractor will do it automatically for us. Okay, what is the purpose of that one? Again, if you could see here, the number of data extracted 50 because I targeted to 50 items, like I did 5 URLs there. Okay, every 10 URLs, so totally 50. Okay, so this is exactly we can go with JS trigger as well. In case if there's a requirement like hey man, there is no dynamic URL, but I need to hard code my URLs. Like say for example, if a URL has a JSON is a parameter or something like that, right? You can need to pass header, body, something, and a post request. Yes, exactly, we can configure it and we can assign that to a URL. Okay. So right now I just use the get request with a default URL, but again we can configure this one to have a full-fledged post method with body, everything, and assign the URL back to this particular thing. Okay, that is possible as well. Okay. So I'll show this example with request trigger. So what is exactly request trigger, right? So this I actually created it here. The same example. Okay, you see there's 132 items available here, and you see there should be 132 items available here as well. Okay, this is with request trigger. I'm not done anything manually here. Like everything will be automated, and this is again API crawler only. This is just an API crawler. Again, as I told you, you can go with this all the settings. All right, timeout, max depth, based on our requirement, we can play with that. So you could see the trigger. A trigger is just only one endpoint here, which is a request trigger, and just with one endpoint here, right? Which is targeting to 0 and 10. So it will always show only 10 records. Okay. Again, the document extractor, same code. There is no change to that code here. There is no change to the code. Only I change the type to photo album. Previously, it was like JS photo album something, because the type should be different. Then only in CEC we can able to target to filter type as well. Again, it is important to make sure our item ID should be unique across the sources, because there is a problem in CEC. Because because in CEC, if you open any item, there will be ID available in the CEC. Say for example, I can show you quickly. Let me go to any content here. All right. Any content. All right. So by default, okay, the ID is there. Okay, by default, the ID is there. Okay, this is ID. This ID is there. Okay, this ID is unique particular item. But if you're creating the same ID for multiple items, again, when we load, if you start of loading that item, again, some other item will load, because it's because we are not specifically saying like give me the record from this particular source. We are not targeting in the browser river. We are not saying give me the content from this source, because we are not saying that. We are just passing the ID only. So ID should be unique across the sources so that it is easy for us to filter it out. Okay. So let me continue from where I left of the API JSON request. So we just saw the document extractor. Again, a request extractor is where I will do the pagination here. Okay, so the request extractor is very straightforward here. So what I'm trying to do here, okay, I'm trying to create a URL for me. Okay, this is exactly in before I told you, like in the JS trigger also we can create URLs, right? This is how we can create a URLs for JS trigger as well. The before we can create something like this, and we can assign this URLs there. So I'm doing the similar thing here in the request extractor. Like I know there's a total number of pages is to 132. Again, my offset is always 0 or 10. Every time I need to increment by 10, 10, 10, and then I'm appending it here in the URL, right? So this is I'm generating dynamically using the while loop here. Once I get all the URLs, so automatically what happened? That's this all the URLs will be triggered, and then document extractor will does this magic to get the information, and it will be indexing accordingly. So totally, if you see here, the indexed record is 132 documents as well. Same documents with 132 documents here. There is one more thing with respect to this one. Okay. So okay, let me talk about the experience age level extraction of content here. Okay. So again, in experience age, it's very straightforward. Like again, we just want to create API crawler or web bounds crawler, whichever is easy for us. But again, both are same as I told. So this is Sitecore item paging. So this is not with search, which is just normally with just an item, okay, like a layout query with just an item. So this is exactly my query. So I can show you the query here, which I already copied here somewhere. Oh, it's not copied. So you could see like this is nothing here, right? Just I'm just using the query with path, item length. This is I'm targeting to item directly, okay, and I'm just getting the item children's here, right? Just item children only, okay. So that means it will try to navigate to each and every children from the particular node. If I'm targeting the home node, all the children under the home node will be crawled and it will be indexed accordingly. So this is exactly I'm trying to do it here. But again, like we need the first level item will give all the information, right? Let me go to the document extractor and show you what exactly we're trying here. So if you see the document extractor here, right? So this is exactly the response which is coming from the layout service. So when we call this particular graphical query in the experience edge, right? So take an example, we are calling this one in the experience edge. So for the targeting any particular items. So we will be having a list of children's as well, right? So that information we grabbed it from here, and I'm just trying to loop it here, and I'm trying to push I'm creating a document and just returning this one to the page. Now we got the document extractor, but the child item will also have its own child as well, right? It will be nested, right? Because I'm targeting the home page. Home page is our children, okay? But the children can also have its own children as well, right? So again, we need to drill down to that level as well, right? So again, yeah, we can do that one. Basically, again, in the request extractor, we will again targeting the similar thing here, but I'm creating a query right now again. But here I'm creating the path attribute here, right? This path, initially I created the path attribute targeting the home item, which is the slide/content/home. But now I'm creating this e.path, which is the child item of which is under the home page. Okay. Now what this will happen? Now this will give me, say for an example, I have about us page. Okay, this will give the about us page URL. And under about us page, I would be having multiple childrens. Okay, this will target a level of details as well. Again, this will go in a loop again and again until the item is not found. Okay. So this is exactly we are trying to create a query. So basically in request extractor, the function is remain the same. You see there's a request object. Initially we discussed like the request object. Use the request object, I can grab the method, grab the URLs, endpoint, headers, and everything from the request. Okay. Now my end of the day, I need to provide a URLs endpoints to crawl it, right? Additional URLs. So this is the place I'm creating additional URLs here. Like here, I'm creating the URLs with body, it's a post method. I'm creating it as a post method. This method is giving me whether it's a get method or post method. In this scenario, it's a post method only. So this header I'm already configured in that trigger system, the first level trigger system. Okay, that is coming up here. And I'm creating the query here, and this will loop again and again and again until the record found. Okay. So if you go to the trigger section again, right? So first thing is we will be having the basic path, which is the home item. As you see, there's a home item available. And once the home item is there, then we will be having like a token. This is very important because we are trying to access our graphical edge endpoint. So this is our token, and content type should be JSON. It should be post request, and there's a endpoint for the edge URL. And if you want to access the preview endpoint, experience preview endpoint, yes, we can target the preview endpoint as well, and token will be different, and it will be ASP_API key. Here it is SE_API key. Again, the key and the headers will be slightly different. That's it. Okay, there's no more change here. And all the information I can easily grab using the request object, which I actually grabbing it from here, right? So once this is done, this will generate multiple endpoints, and it will grab document extractor will grab the content from there as well. Right? This is how the pagination using Sitecore item level information will be grabbed. Okay. Now, if you're thinking of targeting the search from Sitecore edge endpoint, right? In that case, like again, we have the edge paging as well, because edge page is basically a cursor-based pagination, right? So here again, the logic remains the same. Okay, there is no difference in the logic. If you go to the triggers, there's no difference here. Okay, here I'm just using like query which is targeting against item with having like lot of search filtration condition. I'm just taking here. So there's nothing here. So I'm just taking first 5 items and I'm trying to get it from the search. I'm just using the cursor as well. The cursor which will be coming out of the box when I'm using the search query. Okay, using this cursor, I will be doing the pagination basically. Okay. So.
Hi, Nelson.
Yeah.
Sorry to inform that we are crossing over like 20 minutes. So just informing.
Yeah, we'll stop. We'll click on it. All right. So this, okay. So now, once this is done, right? So configuration is similar. There's nothing major here. Again in the document extractor, we'll do the same thing here as well. We're doing the same thing here. So by default, we have the configuration remains the same, but we have in the, as I told, we have in the end cursor available. Just using this end cursor, we can use it to do the pagination. Okay, this end cursor I'm just using for description, but this is nothing not needed here. But this attribute is needed in the request trigger itself. Okay, the request extractor only, where we actually dynamically creating our endpoint URLs. Okay, so this is exactly where I'm creating a pagination actually logic here. Okay, where I'm checking for is whether this is a property which is coming from the layout GraphQL layout service in the edge. Okay, so not in the layout service, in the after running the query in the experience edge. Okay, so this will say true or false. Based on that, I will be doing this one on my side, and you could see like I'm just appending the cursor here. This is exactly where the pagination comes into picture. Rest will be the same parameter. I'm not touching anything with this query which is clearly created. I'm not touching the query, but only I'm touching this cursor only. Okay. So once we did this one, again the endpoint will be created and the pagination will work accordingly. Again, if you see here, and it will be created like 55 items is indexed, right? So it will go to nested level loops and something like that. Mostly like this one only. Let me quickly close this one. So, okay, ingestion API we covered. Right. So these are the 2 starter kits which is available right now. Okay, so we can usually use it and configure it accordingly. So it's very, very easy, which I already configured it here. Which will slightly have some problem, like we need to create some suggestions and sorting options. Once we did this one, which initially we discussed how to create those things, right? Once we create those things, it will work fine. And once it works fine, like we can able to see this demo here, right? So this is exactly the pages which now is configured with my code. Like if I go with this one, so I can search this one. As you see, I'm actually enabled to filtration, which is initially when the starting of this one, I enabled this one album title as well, right? So this is what it is coming as my filtration option as well. So I can go with this one, and even I can have a suggestion option here as well. So this suggestion, I actually created a suggestion option in the beginning, so I can go ahead and suggestion option, which field I actually targeted. When I type in this one, that particular field will be targeted and the relevant suggestion will be shown for me. And again, this is exactly the thing which I selected in the sorting options, A to Z, F to Z. Again, based on that, we can play with this one as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Anybody has any questions? I think it was a wonderful session, Nelson. Thanks for hosting in SCG I mean, it is a detailed insights in Sitecore Search and Sitecore APIs and triggers. This was a very informative session in terms of Sitecore Search. So thanks for hosting with us, and then we'll look looking forward to more content from you in Sitecore SUGCBE. Thanks for joining everyone. Thanks for joining with us. Have a happy weekend. Thanks. Thank you, Nelson.
Thanks for meeting me. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.